Katerina Nicole, welcome to the Popco Project Podcast. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. How are you, John?
I'm doing very well. I feel very badly though because it's your birthday. You told me, and instead of doing fun things, you're here doing a podcast with some Joe Blow from Scranton.
No, I love it. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for being here. I won't keep you too long because, like I said, I'm sure there's more things you could be doing for your birthday than doing this. But thank you so much for spending some time. This is being recorded on the 11th of February, so by the time it comes out, which will be on the 21st, your debut EP will also be available to the masses. How does that feel?
It's nerve-wracking, but so exciting to just let it run wild, the whole thing.
Yeah, I've had the pleasure of hearing it.
What do you think?
It gets better and better every time I listen to it. Like I
Oh,
listen to it, I'm like, okay. So it's 5 songs: "Catch My Breath," "House of Cards," "Emotionally," "Darkling," and "What I Know Now." And my two favorites were "Emotionally" and "What I Know Now." But then as I listen to it over and over again, like I find a new favorite.
oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. So tell my listeners and my audience a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and then we'll get into how this EP kind of came to be.
Well, I am a newish artist in the metal scene, and I've definitely dabbled in a lot of genres in the past, but music's been through my blood since I was 5 years old, and I saw Elvis on stage at the local music festival. I'm from Summerland, BC, Canada, and I'm from a very small town. So, the influences around me were from my parents listening to music when things would come out on MTV as I got older, the radio, things like that. But I was always drawn to it. So when I realized it's something that I wanted to do as a kid, my family was very supportive of that, and it's been such a journey when I think about it to where I am right now, and this is a dream to be in this moment, and it's hard to just be in this moment right now because I'm already like moving so fast and I'm thinking about the next thing, but this is really cool.
Now, you said your parents were very supportive. Were you surprised by that? Because a lot of times parents are like, I don't know, it's hard to do. It's, maybe have a backup plan. Like they were 100% in the whole time.
I think my dad is a little bit more reserved than my mom. She's a
Yeah.
little more of a wild one. She's more on the rock side of things as well, whereas my dad's more R&B and disco. And he's even right now, he's like, what are you gonna do? And I'm like, I'll go broke and die trying and just, keep going type attitude. But yeah, they pushed me when I was young to start doing vocal lessons and competitions and get up on stage.
Any big competitions you were part of?
Yeah, the Kiwanis Music Festival is a local thing we have here for musical theater, and it's very classical and folk. So that's kind of where I started. I had a few different vocal coaches. One was an opera vocal coach. So, I learned from an early age that I was going to go with it, but it wasn't. I was kind of button heads for a while. That it wasn't my style, but I just took whatever I could get from what was around me. Being in a small town, it was kind of hard. I really did want to spread my wings and go, but I was very sheltered for a long time.
That's interesting. Small town. And where are you at now?
I'm in 15 minutes south of Sun
So you're
right
still there.
now.
Okay.
But, I do travel a lot.
Right.
So yeah, I do what I want.
Good. Well, it's your birthday. You can do whatever you want today.
That's right.
Is it a big milestone birthday or just kind of like a regular birthday?
It's the dirty 30. Yeah.
Oh, you're young. Oh, what I would
Yeah.
do to have that back. 30.
I feel like I'm just getting started.
Absolutely. 30 is like, I think that my 30s were the best years of my life. And now, I mean, I'm so happy with where my life is now, but like 30s were a lot of fun for me.
I'm looking forward to it. And I
Well,
have
yeah.
like I've always hung out with older people because I just matured a little bit faster growing up, and they're all excited for me. I'm just like, let's go.
Dirty 30. Wow. And you're spending it here. I still can't believe it. But you said different genres. Are you the same girl who did, was it Sunset in Your Love, One Drink and
Yeah,
Last Whisper?
yeah,
Yeah. So it's a kind of like the opposite end of the spectrum from what that is to what your current music is.
yeah. So I did what was available to me here in the Okanagan Valley. Um, was a guy who's a local promoter. He plays, I think, the trumpet. I think he's in some, some things around here, and he started this small company to try and boost artists. And I saw an ad, so I was like, oh, let's try this. So I did a couple of classic rock covers. I did Crimson and Clover, and I think We're Alone Now, and those actually hit the radio and they went nationwide as covers. I was very surprised. People were messaging me in Walmart and they're like, I hear you. That's great.
That's
I'm like,
awesome.
yeah, it's not the best cover, but that's great. Um, and then I thought I wanted to DJ. So I went to Amsterdam. I went to Pioneer DJ school, and that's where I met my trainer. And he was like, you know what, I'll make you some tracks and you can sing on them and see how you feel. So we did that long distance for a while. And after that, I went to Miami and just checked out a studio, and I made an R&B track, which is Love Like Yours. And that was great. I was like, okay, I like this. So I went back, and that's when Last Whisper evolved, and it was really progressively getting more dark pop. And the engineer was like, you know what? Like, I don't think we need to finish this track on this trip down. So I took the track back to Canada with me, and I contacted my one friend who's in a rock band here, and I was like, who do you know? Who can I get in touch with? And he set me up with my now producer, Jordan Chase. And he's so talented. And not only is he making heavy metal tracks for people nonstop, but he also loves pop. So we created Last Whisper, and now, literally a year later, we started this EP journey.
I mean, you went dark. I mean, even your hair color.
Yeah, darkling really inspired the purple, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, usually I'm a blondie, but I've been feeling dark.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of things that I needed to express and get out that wasn't happening in the deep house world.
Okay. I enjoy that stuff too, though.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So you got into, I guess we'll call it metalcore.
Sure.
Is that a good title?
Yeah.
Yeah. And tell me about this EP. It is called Serene in Violent Oceans, which I think is a cool name.
Thank you. I really I really think this journey with the EP, it was a month and a half long in the studio, and I really had to do a lot of self-reflection and digging deep to get to those places that were important enough to expose, that I needed to, and give them the light and the love that they needed. And so you'll find within this EP, it really is turbulent. It goes dark. It comes out, and you find some light. You find some love within yourself. You're living again, and then you're like going right back into some hard stuff. And it's it's a very crazy experience to go through in the moment. And I'm lucky that I had that safe place in the studio to do that.
Yeah. And the title of the album like really fits exactly what you created. Like exactly what you just said. I felt like I'm in this like storm, so to speak. Like it was like it's cool. It's a cool experience. Like you did a really great job like making, well, at least me, I'm sure others will feel the same way. Just like feel something.
I was really feeling it. It was full genuine me, completely vulnerable, but I'm proud of myself for going to that place because there was so much healing within that.
A lot of artists I talk to have been, a lot of the music has been that like therapeutic kind of finding themselves and going to that dark place. And I know a lot of artists don't want to talk about what their music is because they want to leave it open to interpretation, by whoever's consuming it. But can you talk a little bit about what some of these songs are about?
Yeah, definitely.
Pick one or two. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, the overall feeling of the love for music that I continuously pushed away so many times in my life. And one of the reasons being in a small town too is I didn't have so much inspiration. I couldn't just go to a local dive bar and go listen to live music. We didn't have that, and it felt like a dream that was so far away. And sometimes I felt like I wasn't worthy, or what I had to say or sing about would not be understood. And so I really realized in the studio when I was coming up that, man, this is kind of important stuff. And I can't be the only person in the world that feels like what I want the most out of life, um, I'm not worthy of. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
you could interpret that however you want with whatever you love in life, that you think maybe you can't have that dream. And I felt that way with music for a long time. I had this push and pull, and I felt like I had to hide it away for many years, actually, because I wanted to almost protect it. So it wasn't actually until COVID hit, and I owned two cannabis stores. So I was in my stores, and I'm just like, and we stayed open actually in Canada. They didn't make us close, so we were quite busy. And I found myself like just thinking about music constantly, like, man, I'd be damned if I can't ever get back on stage and do what my soul really misses and loves. And that was a big turning point for me. So yeah, I found myself building a little studio in the back of my office at
That's
one of
awesome.
my stores. And yeah, it was like just kind of went from there.
Were you worried that you wouldn't be able to like
Like
get
make it.
back out? Yeah, get back out there, like with everything going on.
Yeah, I definitely was. But I was like, I'm gonna be that person that's gonna be ready. And I'm gonna come out guns a blazing if I can. And, you know, it it kind of flashed in front of me, and then all of a sudden things were lifting, and you're able to move and do your things again. And I was like, okay, this is really great.
It's time. Let's go. Right.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people did that. Um, I was really worried about like the musicians in general, just because it's one thing creating it, but it's another thing to share it with other people. Being on stages and having that audience connection and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, man, what? How are they feeling during all this? Because that's got to be scary. And it's like part of their lives are missing.
definitely. And I realized it was missing out of my life for that long. And it took this crazy life world event to happen where I was like, damn, yeah, I can't let that happen again. I got to figure out what's been keeping me from this, and I gotta dive deep and figure it out.
So how long does EP take?
Took a month and a half.
That's it.
Yeah. And I went in with themes. I went in with things I wanted to talk about, feelings I had. And then my producer, Jordan Chase, just started composing. And we just sit there, and he'd come up with a demo in 5, 6 hours. And I would already have certain feelings coming up for each song that we were doing. So we just start talking and writing and connecting the dots. And yeah, we actually kept a lot of the scratch vocals, which I'm still surprised about because, they're so in the moment, and you're just like, oh, okay, this is how the melody is going to go. And Jordan's great with melodies. So he came up with all of them for me. This kind of stuff is new to me, is creating melodies and writing. So it was very much a team effort.
How important was your producer for you? Because I find it fascinating, like how important producers are in general. Like how was that for you?
Yeah, it gets me emotional just thinking about it, because if I hadn't met Jordan and I didn't have him to be like, wow, I really see something in you. I really believe you. I believe what you're doing and what you have to say. And I really think that you can do this and make a difference. I wouldn't be here right now. And the chemistry that went on in the studio, we had things that we both related to, in our own different lives and different times. And so having that encouragement was priceless.
Yeah. Now it's out now everywhere, streaming everywhere. What do you hope that listeners get from this?
It took me a while to really believe that I'm worthy of this. And what I know now is exactly that. It's about music coming and going and like am I worthy, of this? And so after this EP has come to life, I'm starting to believe that I can live this dream. So my hope would be that anybody that listens to this or even sees this podcast is like that they can follow their dream no matter where they are in their life.
I think a lot of people struggle with that. I know I do. I don't feel like anything I do is important. Um, and I struggle with that. And, I have a very incredible life. My wife is not only smart, she's beautiful. I have two wonderful children. I have a good job. And sometimes I just feel like, how did this happen? Like, how did I get so lucky? So, and I think that happens a lot with people.
Yeah, and it might be easy to say, "Oh, I am really grateful for what I have right now," but there might be that thing in the back of your mind that won't go away of something, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? And I've had this question come up a little bit lately where it's like, if this doesn't work out, or do you have a timeline or, something to do with this project for me, or this road or this path. And even if I don't end up performing full time like I would like to be, I know that there's other avenues within the music industry that I'm going to make sure that I'm going to be a part of because I'm not going to let music go again. So maybe someone's dream might be something specific, but maybe you can look at it in a different perspective and find something within an industry that you really care about.
Well, you have two cannabis stores too.
Yeah, I mean, growing up in BC, hey,
Yeah.
yeah, I was very eager.
I feel like I had to kind of talk about that. How long has that been?
I started working with hemp, industrial hemp, when cannabis was not legalized yet. My mom was having lupus flare ups. So she was having lots of periods where she couldn't get out of bed and she was in a lot of pain. And I was a huge stoner. And, she really did not like to smoke at all or do edibles at the time or, everything else. So I came up with the idea of researching industrial hemp CBD and specifically CBD isolate. So it's a long story, but basically I created a industrial hemp company and the products, I used my mom as a guinea pig. Thanks, mom. And she thrived. She was doing so much better. She didn't take prednisone as what the doctors wanted her to do. And I was just like, wow. And then the word spread in town. And next thing you know, I had a full blown business. And that industrial hemp product business funded being able to open up recreational cannabis stores as soon as it got legalized. So we were like, I was the first store open in my town and the second store open in all of the Okanagan.
You're always like ready. You're
I'm
always
on a
ready to capitalize.
Yeah, I'm a hustler.
Yeah, that's
But also
amazing.
I was very passionate about it too. Like, yeah, I wanted to open people's eyes um to CBD and the benefits. I helped a lot of elderly people in my town, a lot of animals, stuff like that.
Yeah, I wish I was good with like weed and stuff like that. I'm not good at it.
Like you don't enjoy it.
Well, I wouldn't say I don't enjoy it. I just I feel like I'm not in control, and I feel like it happens very quickly. And I've tried like lower you know THC levels and things like that, but it just I don't know what it is. I always feel like there's a cloak of highness that actually like just descends upon me, and I can feel it happening.
It makes sense. Yeah.
And it just kind of like I don't know. I feel like I don't have control.
Have you tried CBD? Like, were you just wanting it recreationally, or was it for ailments?
Yeah, just recreationally.
Yeah. I
You know.
mean, yeah, it's kind of one of those things you can't really go to just, you could go to CBD actually because it's, you still get that really nice, hey, I'm good feeling
Yeah.
with being in control. Yeah.
Yeah, like people that I've gone to dispensaries and they say like, oh well, do you drink? I said yeah, but like when I drink, which isn't that often, but like it's for me it's like very gradual, and I feel like I can control it. Like if I feel like if I have two or three, and I'm like okay, like I start to feel weird, like you can just stop. But with you know that, I feel like it's just like you're in it, and then you're in it for however long it lasts.
Yeah, that's right. You don't really know how it's going to go.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's so strong nowadays.
yeah. I remember I was at a party once. This is like years ago in Colorado, and I was in a party, and there was like it was a bachelor party, so there was probably 15 of us. And I don't know if I was just making this up, but I feel like if there was 15 people broken out in like three different groups or whatever it might be, I could hear everyone's conversation.
Oh,
It,
that's awesome.
it was cool. I felt like it was like a superpower to a degree, but I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah, I feel like that when I was in high school, it just hit me different.
Yeah,
And then dabs were starting to come out and all the crazy stuff. So,
yeah,
there was no dosing, you
right.
know.
Wasn't as
Yeah.
regulated. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool though. I'm always have a lot of respect for business owners in general. My full time job, which is why I couldn't do this earlier, is in sales, but I work business to business, helping people with their advertising. So I've always been around business owners for the last 20 years, and seeing them grow and I love being a part of that, and I have so much respect for people who can do that because it's something I always wanted to do, but I just don't think I have that. A, I don't have the money for it, and B, I don't know if I want to do it, but I don't think I would be good at it either.
I had zero experience. I did not go to university. My parents were a little too nervous to let me again leave the small town and the nest. So I didn't go to college or university, but I always had that the entrepreneurship, and my parents are both entrepreneurs, so that kind of ran in the family, but they never had employees. So I just kind of I just went with it, and there's always that learning process, and excuse me, you really have to, lean on each other and know your weaknesses, and use other people's strengths and work as a team and stuff. So I learned a lot, and we opened 2000 and end of 2018 or beginning of 2019, and I did it for a couple of years, and I learned a lot, but it was fun because we were trailblazing.
Yeah,
Nobody knew what they were doing. The government had no idea what they were doing, all that kind of stuff. So it
yeah,
was it was great.
that's awesome. Congrats on that.
Thanks. Yeah, I had two stores and I had I think 9 employees at one time. I was doing everything. I didn't have someone under me managing or anything. It was me doing everything.
Yeah, I have all these ideas in my head. I just don't know how to execute them. And I don't think I would be a good manager because I would have like very high expectations on myself, and I would probably like expect that out of everyone. And especially nowadays, like that's just like not really how it is.
Yeah,
So I'd
especially if
probably get,
it's your business, it's
yeah,
yours. You can't expect other people to feel that same passion
yeah,
at that same degree.
maybe one day.
You know
I'll,
what? I don't know if this is the best advice, but it's always what I do is I just wing it.
I mean, I've heard that a lot too about people who started businesses. You just kind of figure it out along the way.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll take some of your advice though, and just do it.
Just do it.
Don't be afraid. But like I said before, like you're always ready. So the EP's out when this comes out today. What's the plan with it? Do you have like are you going to do some shows? Like how do you plan on promoting it? How do you plan on getting out there?
This is a interesting question because I'm also winging it a little bit because I want to do a slow burn with this industry. I'm in it for the long run. I want to have my team very tight knit. We do have a show planned. It's February 22nd, and that's the only show we have planned right now. And I'm okay with that. I will keep being a go-getter and networking and letting doors open as they may. Even just doing this podcast with you is amazing. You know, Amy and Tori are new on my team, and I can't be more grateful because everybody that I have around me, they have so much going on, and they're if they didn't want to support me or if they didn't believe in me, they wouldn't. So that means a lot to me. It doesn't go unnoticed what people are doing for me right now. And I'm trying to, be the best that I can be for everybody, but also for myself because I believe in what I'm doing.
Is there any kind of pressure to that? Do you feel pressure?
I can imagine there being more pressure in the future when tours come. I've never been on a tour. I've never done anything like that. I've never played with a band. This is my first time with this show. It'll be my first band. And I'm playing with really great guys. I have Jordan Chase. I have Ryan Lorkey. He used to drum for Spirit Box. Everybody on my team, they've had so many peaks in their careers. So I respect it so much. So if anything, I would try to keep up with them.
Yeah.
But I'm lucky because that's an amazing start. I have an amazing first venue. I couldn't be more excited for what's coming. So I'm just trying to take it in moment by moment.
I hope there'll be some video out there of that show.
There is. Yes, I will have it filmed live.
No kid. Released on like YouTube or whatever.
Yep, ballsy.
Amazing. That's awesome. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, me too.
That's awesome. Does that make you nervous?
Yeah, and it's going to be my most vulnerable show because it's my friends and my family that will be there, and everybody that knows me. They know my traumas. They know what I've been through, so they're probably going to pick up on some of these lyrics and emotions if they haven't already. I'm sure some of them will come out. So after I get through this first show, it's probably going to be a cakewalk.
You've already had some singles out from the EP. In fact, one comes out again. This is February 11th. It'll come out tomorrow. How have they been received from fans so far?
Oh, I shouldn't say I'm surprised, but I am surprised because, I'm new and I'm not afraid to say that. And entering this genre, I hope that people are going to be welcoming to me, learning and growing. I have very pathetic little baby screams in this first EP, but that's okay because I want people to see where I'm going. And I'm already working on EP 2, and I've got great screams in there. I've been working my butt off on my vocals and screams. So it's interesting because this is a little bit of a different topic, but I'm coming in from a pop vocal background and loving this heavy music, what's pairing with it. And I'm hoping that some of these listeners out there that may also come from a softer side, I can kind of like take them by the hand and be like, let's go into the
Yeah.
depths of despair a little bit, come with me and enter this world because as I'm learning all this stuff the last couple of years in this industry and genre specifically, is that it's not so mainstream as we all want it to be.
Right.
The genre is not loved and respected in some eyes as it should be, just like every other genre out there, especially the Grammys really piss me off because like, some of those things shouldn't have happened that did. And they're
Yeah.
not, it's a genre, just like every other genre. So, you know, I want to be maybe a face that can come in with a little bit of a softerness and be maybe a little bit of a bridge to opening doors and eyes to all of these amazing artists that I find so inspiring.
And who are those? Some of those
Def-
artists.
Definitely Courtney LaPlante. Not just because my drummer used to, to drum for her. I didn't even know that until we started jamming together. But as I was making my EP, I was a fairly new fan of hers, and I was just like, this is so cool. And then I started going down her rabbit hole of how long she's been in the industry and how long she's been working her butt off for. And she's getting the recognition that she really does deserve. And then I'm seeing, people like Haley Gore in Gore and Ginger, and yeah, it's great to see. It really is. There's a lot of males out there too, but because I'm a lady, I'm speaking about the ladies here. Um, but yeah, it's an interesting thing because everybody is different, and maybe people will look at metal that and they're like, oh, they're the same, or maybe they'll try and compare. But just like every other genre, everybody's different.
Yeah. I had the pleasure of interviewing Gore and
Oh,
Vukovi. Are you familiar with them?
no.
Tori sent them my way too. Uh, they're awesome. Check them out. I think if you like Gore, you'll like Vukovi.
I'm excited because Gore is going on tour now with Cane Hill, and I just saw Cane Hill in Vienna this year, and it was great. Really good show.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm excited for you. I really
Thank you.
am.
I appreciate
Yeah.
that. Means a lot.
Darkling, that starts off really heavy. I think that's the one that's like pretty like just comes out real hard.
Yeah, and it's an interesting track because it's the only one on the EP that's pulled back from right in my emotions, and it's just a story about me seeing a ghost when I was a kid. And I was flying to Vegas and I was playing the instrumental in my head, trying to write the song. And I was just like, man, this makes me feel like the time that I woke up as a kid and I saw a woman dressed in a dress at my bedroom window. Like I had just sat up in bed. I woke up, I was probably like 9 or 10. And she was sitting in my computer chair. We all had a computer room, and my
Yeah.
computer room was connected to my bunk bed in the same room. So I like sat up, and she was sitting in the computer chair, drenched in blood, with her head tilt.
Oh
And
God.
it was insane. And I've seen ghosts a couple of times in my life, but that was awful. And I remember just laying back down, and I was just like, paralyzed. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't move. So I was thinking about that, and then it was also, the instrumental was giving me that creepy vibe. And so yeah, so it was a fun track to make.
You've seen ghosts multiple times?
I have.
I can't say that I have.
No, it was interesting. My grandma was very spiritual and into Reiki and learning about reptiles and demons and stuff like that. She was a very enlightened person, and so I think from a very young age she tapped into me like seeing auras, and I think she pushed the boundaries a little bit with me, and that must have opened something. Yeah.
Yeah. Not much scares me, but masks scare me.
Masks. Oh.
Masks. No thanks. I can't handle not being able to see expressions. So
Oh,
yeah,
interesting.
yeah. Like full like face covered masks. Like if I could see the eyes, it's not as bad because again you can kind of tell something from people's eyes, even their mouth. But yeah, full masks, forget it. Like Strangers, that movie Strangers scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, strange. I was gonna say you probably love Slipknot. It's all good.
Yeah, yeah. It's just I don't know. I mean, I guess on stage it wouldn't bother me, but like if it's a haunted house or whatever or things
Yeah.
like that, no, forget
I
it.
was very scared of Michael Myers growing up.
Yeah,
Very scared. Yeah. I mean, I live in a very rural area too, so I was sleeping over at my girlfriend's and we were watching the Rob Zombie Halloween, and she fell asleep, and I was up alone and I was hearing things outside, and of course it was a bear that
yeah,
night, and I was terrified.
yeah.
Yeah. No thanks.
What do you do for fun outside of music and your businesses?
I'm an animal advocate, actually. I work at two different animal shelters, one here in BC and one in Greece. and I absolutely love it. It keeps me grounded. I'm such an empath and a giver, so I am very dedicated to helping every animal that I see that needs it.
That's cool. We need people like that. It's like animals and like children. Like if you are mean to either one of those things, it's like who are you as a person?
Yeah, I'm not a fan. If someone's like, "Oh, I don't really like cats or dogs," I'll be like, "Hmm, okay, okay."
So I've always had cats. Well, even growing up, I had dogs. We just got a puppy last April, so she'll be actually I think she'll just be turning a year old the next day or two. I think we considered it February 14th just for Valentine's Day, and it's easy to remember. I think her actual birthday, according to her sheet that we adopted her from, it was like the 9th, I think it was. But I was never a dog person just because I don't know. I always felt like they drooled a lot. They'd always like have their nose in places you don't want them. But the dog is growing on me, and my kids love it.
You know what? I absolutely agree with you. I was always a cat person. I fostered cats my whole life, and we always had cats since I was a baby. But what changed for me was I was working at a rescue in Greece, and I learned that they were treated so badly, like shot at, abused, chained up, left for dead, like the worst of the worst. And I really didn't think Greece would be like that. And I'm from an island called Naxos Island. So that's where my grandfather's from. So I have a home there and it's my little sanctuary. So one day I was just driving up to one of the villages and two kittens were crossing the road and they look like kittens that hadn't eaten and they had fleas. So I picked them up. I asked the owner of the house if I could take them. He said yes. And I was like, okay, I'll get them treated and I'll bring them back. I brought them back and he wasn't there. And I heard a dog bark and I looked over a rocky ravine down his property. And I'm talking like a shack, like just cinder blocks, nothing else going on to this house. And I saw this little cute black dog chained up on sharp rocks and shit, just piles.
Hmm.
And and I've never worked around dogs, but for some reason I was not afraid of this dog, even though she was barking her head off at me. So I went to the vet, got a note written in Greek, came back, left the note in Greek that said, I'm going to take this dog too. I'll get her treated, make sure she has everything she needs. And when you can clean up an area for her, I will bring her right back to you. And what he was doing was illegal. You can't treat animals like that. You can't have them on chains in Greece. So, and I'm sure, unfortunately, he didn't have the money to take care of this dog either, or, do any of those things he needed to do. So I never heard back from him again.
Yeah,
So I took Melly, I called her Melly as honey in Greek, and I fostered her for 3 years, sponsored her, and she just got adopted this last fall. It's hard to talk about her because I get choked up.
yeah,
She's become my favorite little girl ever. But she's adopted to Berlin, and she's with a man now that just lost his wife, and they're two peas in a pod now. So
that's great.
it's a long story, but a happy story. So
You're just
yeah.
a good person. Like seriously, like the animals, and like obviously you started your business based on wanting to help people, helping your mother, and obviously music is going to help people too. Kind of connect with that, and you're just a good person. That's awesome.
I want to be.
Yeah, that's good. We need more people out there like you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. One last question, I'll let you go. This is just kind of a fun what if scenario. Hopefully it doesn't happen, but an asteroid is coming to Earth. There's no Bruce Willis. There's no Will Smith to save us. Like it's going to hit. World is over.
I know it's coming.
You know it's coming. The world is over. It's done. You've got 3 days and you can travel wherever you wanted to travel to. What would you do in those 3 days?
Eat I'm such a foodie. I would eat like everything in sight, like endless amount of calories. I would eat everything and everything. Be in my sweats and hoodie and probably listen and sing my favorite songs with the people I love on top of that.
Just gonna chill.
Yeah.
That's cool. I hope it never happens because like I'm not a survivalist. So like, I think I want to try, right? Because I have 2 kids, and like I just couldn't imagine like that ever happening. So yeah, yeah, I
Interesting
don't.
question.
Yeah, it's kind of like I don't know where that came from. I think we were just talking one day, just like, what if this was going to happen and it's over? But you didn't choose to travel. I'm surprised by that.
I've traveled a lot.
Okay,
I've really yeah, I'm good.
good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the EP is out today. Serene in Violent Oceans, 5-song EP. Where can people find you online?
I'm very active online, especially right now. But I love to interact with people. So Instagram, Katerina Nicole Music. KaterinaNicoleMusic.com is my website, and Katerina Nicole Music is my YouTube. So yeah, reach out anytime.
I'll have to follow that so I can see that upload of the show.
Absolutely. Looking forward to your reaction on it.
Yeah. But best of luck with this EP and the rest of your music career. I have no doubts that you're going to be successful just based on it. You're always ready. Like I said before, you're a great person, and I think when you set yourself up like that, good things are bound to come your way too. So
Thank you. I'm just going with the flow. We'll see what happens.
yeah, for sure. Well, enjoy your 30th birthday.
Thank you.
You're going for dinner, you said?
Yeah, I'm gonna go eat.
Nice. What kind of restaurant?
It's miscellaneous, kind of
Okay.
and they just reopened across the street, so should be good. Maybe have a steak and
Nice. Awesome. Well, happy 30th birthday. Thanks for spending some of it with me.
thank you. I really appreciate your time.
Absolutely. We'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.